Have you ever felt like your inner compass is just spinning? Like you're a little lost in all the noise of daily life? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful practice for anyone who feels that way. It's called the sphere of silence, and it's all about quieting that noise so you can finally hear yourself think, connect, and create. Let's get right into it.
So let's just start with a direct question for you. Do you ever get that feeling that you're just going through the motions? You know, that your inner voice, that gut feeling, your intuition has just gone completely quiet? It's a feeling a lot of us can relate to, and it's the exact reason we're digging into this today.
You know, this feeling of being disconnected, it has a real cost. The source material we're looking at uses this incredibly powerful term for it, the withered soul. And that's exactly what it can feel like, right? Like you've lost your internal compass, and all that energy and vitality just seems to dry up. And I mean, look at the contrast here. It's night and day. When we're connected to that inner self, creativity is just bursting, life has meaning, there's a real sense of purpose. But without that connection, the creative spark just kind of dies out, things feel meaningless, and before you know it, you're just wandering aimlessly. So what's blocking this signal? What's causing all this static? Well, more often than not, it's our own ego. Think of it like a really loud, demanding roommate. Our source explains that the ego demands our full attention all the time. It keeps us so wrapped up in the daily grind, the worries, the ambitions, that we literally can't hear that deeper call of our true purpose.
Okay, so if the ego is the problem, then what's the solution? This is where we get to the heart of it all. There's a practice specifically designed to turn down the volume on the ego so you can finally reconnect with that inner voice, and it's called the sphere of silence.
So what is the sphere of silence, really? The best way to picture it is like building your own private internal room. It's a state where you intentionally shut the door on the outside world and on the constant chatter of your own ego. The whole goal is to unite with what the source calls the voice of the silence, a higher consciousness where you can find genuine clarity and purpose.
And to make this idea really stick, there's this fantastic analogy about a potter and their clay. Think about it. Before that lump of clay can become a beautiful vase, it has to be completely in sync with the vision inside the potter's mind. It's the exact same idea here. Our soul needs to unite with this voice of silence to find its true shape, its true purpose.
But listen, this isn't just some vague, abstract concept. It's an active practice. It's about intentionally creating a dialogue with that deeper part of yourself. So, how do you actually do it? Let's break it down.
You know, the practice itself is actually surprisingly simple. It really just comes down to 3 steps. First, you just create that mental space for a silent conversation, to connect with what the source calls the Lord, or whatever higher power resonates with you. Second, you physically write down your questions. This is a huge step because it makes your intentions real and concrete. And finally, you just speak authentically, right from the heart. No filter, hold nothing back.
Now, this is what I think is so brilliant about this whole approach. It's the framework for how you interpret the outcomes. It totally reframes the idea of prayer away from just getting what you want. Look at this. If you get an answer, fantastic, your faith grows. If it's delayed, well, you're building patience. And if it seems to go unanswered, the perspective is that something even better is being planned for you. It's like, no matter what happens, you win. Every single outcome becomes a catalyst for growth.
And when you start doing this regularly, something really profound starts to happen. It literally changes the very nature of your thoughts. We're talking about a fundamental shift from scattered, chaotic energy to focused, intentional power.
The source uses this brilliant metaphor to explain the shift. See, normally our thoughts are kind of like water splashing over a stone, disorganized, noisy, but ultimately not really getting anywhere. But when you practice shaping them inside the sphere of silence, your thoughts become like arrows, sharp, powerful, and they penetrate deeply. I mean, think about the most influential leaders and thinkers in history. The source suggests their real power wasn't just in their words, but in the focused intention behind them. Their thoughts were like these perfectly aimed arrows fired from a bow, and they still penetrate our hearts, even centuries later. That's the kind of powerful focus this practice is all about cultivating.
And this quote from Phillips Brooks just captures that mindset shift perfectly. Do not pray for tasks equal to your powers, pray for powers equal to your tasks. Wow. Just think about that for a second. You stop asking for an easier life and you start asking to be strong enough for the life you have. The goal isn't to avoid challenges, it's to become the person who can overcome them. And when you do that, you become the miracle.
So this all brings us to the ultimate realization of this entire practice. It's about unlocking a version of yourself you might not even know exists. And the key to unlocking it all is a single, powerful act: surrender.
And I want you to really hear this next part, because it's a direct, empowering message for you. It says, without any reservation, that within you, right now, there is a greater, deeper, more charismatic version of yourself just waiting to be awakened. A you that truly has the power to shake the world.
So how do you awaken that potential? Well, our source points to this piece of wisdom from the Srimad Bhagavatam. When it says, "Give me what you hold dearest," it's not talking about your possessions. It's talking about surrendering the things we cling to most tightly: our ego, our fears, our constant need for control. The promise is that the results of letting go of that are infinite.
And this leads us to the core paradox of this whole thing. The very moment you surrender your ego to a higher purpose, the world, almost by magic, begins to surrender to you. True influence doesn't come from forcing your will on everything. It comes from aligning yourself with something far greater than you are.
The path to unlocking all this power starts simply. It just begins by quieting the noise and tuning in to a different frequency. That potential is already there, inside you. Your inner world is waiting. The only question left is, are you ready to listen?